Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me for our last and final activity this Friday, Life Skills. Today for Life Skills, we're going to review the 10 outdoor safety signs that we learned and talked about yesterday to help us complete our worksheet. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and say each sign, do a brief description on what the sign means, and then where you might see the sign, and then we're going to complete our worksheet together. So let's start with the phone. The phone sign, like I said, we're not going to see too many of those today. It's going to be a blue background with an old phone on it, and that's just indicating that if you needed to use a phone, such as a pay phone, that there would be one in that area. We don't see a lot of pay phones around anymore since everybody basically has cell phones today. The next one is the picnic area. That's a sign that's mostly found in parks or sometimes, parks or areas, big, large areas such as Roger Williams Park Zoo, a garden park, or even sometimes at a beach. And that sign means that if you wanted to have a picnic or grill out in that area, that would be the designated area to do so. The next one is ped-exing, which basically means pedestrian exiting. That sign is just indicating that that's a busy area for pedestrians, like crossing the street or going from one side of the block to the other side of the block. Pitch-in. So you see a lot of these pitch-in signs on the bike path. If I do go for a bike ride this week and I am on the bike path and see one, I'll take a picture and then post it to our Google Classroom. The pitch-in sign just means that if you have trash, a water bottle, paper, a granola bar wrapper, that there's little stations of trash barrels and recycle bins set out, and should just throw them in the designated bins. Don't just throw them on the side of the street and litter. One way. A lot of these signs you might see in the neighborhood, they're black sign. There's a black sign with white lettering and it says one way, just meaning that there's only one way of direction for that street. School Xing, that just means that a school is nearby and it's just a busy area, especially when the start of the school day is and at the end of the school. And that's just alerting drivers to take caution as they're proceeding, which then leads us to the school speed limit. So a lot of times you're going to see a speed limit sign that has two flashing lights at the top and bottom, and the speed limit sign usually reads 20 miles an hour. That's just saying that when school is in session, so normally between the hours of 8 and 4, that when you're passing the school, you should only be going no more than 20 miles an hour. The next one, the deaf school Xing, that just means that people that attend that school are hard of hearing, so it's hard for them to hear any cars or buses or motorcycles driving by the school, and they should not be flying by. They should not be speeding. They should be taking caution and driving slow and making sure that there's no one around there. Railroad crossing. So again, we might not see that sign too much where we are today, but that's just alerting that if there's a set of railroad tracks that's in the middle of the road, that if those lights are blinking, it means that you need to take caution. If those lights are down, if those lights are red, and there's sometimes going to be two bars that go across creating an X, that means that you need to stop and you're not proceeding forward because the train is coming. Then the next one, reserved parking. That just means that that specific parking spot is reserved for a specific reason. It could be reserved for handicap parking. It could be reserved for somebody that works in that type of office, such as doctors or nurses. Or it also could be reserved parking for emergency vehicles, so police officers, ambulances, and firefighters. So now we're going to move on and complete our worksheet. Gathering from your packet, so this is going to be found in your second packet, the packet that we have been working on, okay? And it's going to have two signs. It's going to say circle the sign, outdoor numbers 21 through 25. Then on the back, circle the sign, outdoor signs numbers 26 through 30. You're also going to need a pencil, and you're also going to need a correcting tool. Crayon, marker, color, pencil, pen. I'm going to go over the materials again. You're going to find this worksheet in your second packet, the packet that we have been working on, not the packet that you just received. It's going to say outdoor signs numbers 21 through 25 on the front. And then if you turn it on the back, circle the sign, outdoor signs numbers 26 through 30. You're also going to need a pencil and then a correcting tool. Colored pencil, crayon, marker, pen. If you need a little bit of extra time gathering those materials, pause the video here and then press play when you have those materials in front of you. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're on the side of the worksheet that says circle the sign numbers 21 through 25, okay? 21 through 25, we're going to start on that side first. The first thing you're going to do is put your first and last name at the top of your paper. So I'm going to give you a few moments to put your first and last name at the top of your paper using your pencil. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to read the text and you're going to circle the sign that describes the word that I'm reading. Remember, all of these words are exactly the words that are on our whiteboard that we just said and reviewed. So the first one is phone. Circle the sign that represents phone. The next one is picnic area. You're going to circle the sign that represents a picnic area. Number 3, ped Xing. You're going to circle the sign that completes those words. The next one is pitch in. Circle the sign that shows pitch in. And then number 5, one way. You're going to circle the sign that shows one way. Okay, now before we turn our paper over, you want to make sure you have a sign circled for phone, a sign circled for picnic area, a sign circled for ped Xing, a sign circled for pitch in, and then a sign circled for one way. So now let's flip our paper over and complete this side of our worksheet. Okay, number 1 is school Xing. Circle the sign that shows that. Number 2 is deaf school Xing. Circle the sign that shows that. The third sign is school speed limit. You're going to circle the sign that shows school speed limit. Number 4 is railroad crossing. You're going to circle the sign that shows railroad crossing. Remember we talked about it should have an X too. And then the next one and last one, reserved parking. Circle the sign that shows reserved parking. So now before we go over and flip our paper over the front to complete our to correct our worksheet, you want to make sure you have a sign circled for school exiting, a sign circled for deaf school exiting, a sign circled for school speed limit, a sign circled for railroad crossing, and a sign circled for reserved parking. If you need a little bit of extra time or you missed one of them, you know you can always rewind the video to get to that specific spot that you missed to help you answer the question. And if you are all set, you want to make sure that you're back at this spot here where we're going to go and correct our work. So now this is where you're going to need your correcting tool. Your marker, your colored pencil, a crayon, a pen, whatever you have at home. Remember, if you got it right, you're going to put a check. If you got it incorrect, you're going to circle the correct sign so we can learn from our mistakes. So number 1, phone. The sign that should be circled is the second one. It has a picture of the phone and then it even has the word phone in it. Number 2, picnic area. The third sign should be circled. It has a picnic table on the sign with the words picnic area. Number 3, ped Xing. Your third sign should be circled. It has a pedestrian, so the outline of a person in the walking. The fourth sign, pitch in. Your first sign should be circled. It has the words pitch in, but it also has somebody the outline of a person kind of throwing trash away in the trash bin. And then the fifth sign, one way. The second sign should be circled. It has the words one way with an arrow. So that's just indicating that if the arrow is pointing this way, that this is the only way you can travel down the street. If the arrow was pointed this way, this would be the only way that you're traveling down the street. You can only travel it in that specific direction. Okay, so let's turn our paper over and go over our back. The next one, school exiting, the second sign should be circled. It has the picture of an adult and a child kind of walking across the street. The next one is deaf school exiting. It's going to be the third sign. It's basically the same thing, only this sign is slightly different. It has the picture of an ear with a knot symbol, so that's just indicating that they cannot hear. So they have a difficult time hearing. Number 3, the school speed limit. The first sign should be circled. It has the word school speed limit and then the 20 miles an hour sign, which is typically the miles per hour that you should be driving in a school zone. Number 4, the railroad crossing. The third sign should be circled. It has 2 R's on it, which stands for railroad, with the X, which means that they are crossing. And number 5, reserve parking. The first sign should be circled. It has the words reserve parking. In this case, the handicap symbol, so that just indicates that if you are handicapped, you can park in that spot, making sure that you even have the handicap sign. If you do not have the handicap sign, you are not allowed to park in that spot. So now, just to close out our lesson, I just want to repeat the 10 outdoor safety signs that we worked with today on our worksheet. You can read along with me or repeat back after me as we say each sign. So we have phone, picnic area, head exiting, pitch in, one way, school exiting, school speed limit, deaf school exiting, railroad crossing, and reserve parking. So that is going to be it for today on this Friday. And remember, there is no school on Monday because it is Memorial Day. So we have an extra long weekend. We have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off from school. On Tuesday, when we begin, we're going to be working from our new packet. So all of our materials on Tuesday will be from our new packet that we just received. So I hope you all have a wonderful long weekend and you get to enjoy some of the beautiful sunshine that's going to be out this weekend. And I will see you all back for learning on Tuesday.